This broadcast is brought to you by bodies, am I right? I don't think I'm going to use that as the intro. Since the dawn of humanity, we've all occupied advanced body structures with intrinsic engineering. And since the dawn of humanity, one thing has been made clear. Proportions are hard to draw. I would know, because I suck at proportions. But thankfully, with my dream of animating One Piece, Oda is very realistic and consistent with his proportions. So once I get the basic body structure down, I can practically draw any character, right? Wrong! Something Oda likes to make very clear is that there are no limits for what a character can look like. Want a guy with an abnormally sized head? Done. Want another guy with an abnormally sized head? Also done. Want a guy with an abnormally sized tongue? Also done! The point is that each of Oda's characters has an abnormal trait that makes them stand out. A brilliant technique when designing unique characters, as each of them end up having recognizable silhouettes because of their distinct form. Like, if you're familiar with One Piece and you look at this silhouette, well, that's clearly Luffy. And if you look at this silhouette, well, that's clearly Luffy, but with a different shirt on. And if you look here, well, that's obviously James Hetfield from the band Metallica. Now let's back it up a few kilometers. How are we going to learn how to draw bodies accurate to how real-life anatomy looks? Well, I think it's important to note how in-depth the human form is, and something that takes a lot of time to learn. So for this week, I'll be tackling mainly general anatomy. This will include the simplest form of human structure as shown on a lay figure. And then next week, I'll delve into more specific parts of anatomy such as hands and muscles. The head is essentially the basis for the starting point of a character. It can be overwhelming with how to start, but rest assured you can never go wrong with starting off with a simple circle. As we advance into more unique figures, we'll begin using other shapes to create a character's head, but for now you can create any character with just a circle to start. This will be covered much more in depth as we start the faces unit, but what I like to do is create two intersecting lines, like this, which will help determine which direction the character is facing. Now every artist does this differently, but what I like to do is actually create another line underneath the horizontal one. Now you may be looking at this and wondering, so is that like gonna be for the mouth? And that's the funny thing, cause the whole jaw area does not even exist yet. This will actually be a guideline for the eyes, and the above one being for the eyebrows. What I'll do now is extend the vertical line down to create the full height of the head. Now this line here will be the chin, and it can widely vary in its angle and curvature. What I've found with the One Piece style is that a more curved jawline symbolizes a more youthful or cutesy appearance, or potentially a character with more body fat, while a character with a more sharp jawline symbolizes a more toned build and depicts a sense of physical maturity and masculinity. Something I commonly notice as well is that Oda tends to depict a lot of female characters with sharp chins to present a more feminine appearance, whereas the male characters usually have a horizontal line for a chin. Alright, now onto the body itself. Now I'm going to avoid drawing in angles for now and just draw from a forward perspective, so no three-dimensional views. So I guess that just means we're doing 2 dimensions, right? Wrong, we're using 1 dimension. The only reason for this is to ensure we have the right height. Now if you feel confident in just jumping into drawing the form of the body, that's great. And I think all artists should get to the point of confidence where they can do the same, but for now I want to just make sure that we're establishing correct proportions while we're still at the basics. So a good rule of thumb when drawing basic late teen to adult characters is that they are typically 8 heads tall for males, while the females are about 7.5 heads tall. For younger or just generally smaller characters, I would recommend around 4 to 6 heads. These all vary on the head size of course, especially with One Piece proportions, but with general characters that don't have crazy sizes, such as, background characters and whatnot, this can be an accurate scaling method that also reflects to real world anatomy. Hey, just editing this right now, and I totally forgot I recorded this footage. So here I'm pretty sure I'm demonstrating that the shoulder is 1 head width, but yeah, I can't quite tell you. I think I recorded a few more clips like this, so we'll see. Now for the shoulders, we can use a 3 head width for males, so 1 head on each side, and then 2.5 for women, so that is 3/4 of a head on both sides, and then a 2 width for children, usually just having half a head on each side for shoulder width. Alright, now once we feel confident about our head scaling, we can start to replace them with shapes when drawing. We'll create a skeleton that has accurate sizings that we can ensure with the heads, and then from there we can divide the body into sections. I received a really helpful comment on one of my videos that I 100% agree with, being to divide the torso into 3 sections, top, middle, and bottom. Typically the middle will be smaller in width compared to the other 2 sections, but this can also vary depending on the character's stomach size. Oh hey, he's back at it again. Let's see what he's doing this time. Alright, so it looks like I'm measuring my hips with my chest for some reason. I don't exactly know what the purpose of that is. I think I'm trying to show that my hips and chest are equal in width, so yeah, thank you for that. Alright, now we got the limbs. I always like doing simple lines for these and then having the elbow and knees be a smaller circle as compared to the shoulders. What I've noticed is that the forearm is not as long as the upper arm, but including the base of the hand without fingers, that it basically is. Legs are what basically make up half the height, so that implies that they should be around 4 heads tall. Now, I would say the upper leg and lower leg are essentially equal in height. They don't have to be notably different sizes as long as they both cover the height from the head to the pelvis. Last are the feet. I'm about to drop a fact that will shock at least one person here, and it's the fact that the human foot is approximately the same size as the forearm. Oh wait, that's on frame. Hold on. Yep, there. Yeah. Okay, they get the idea. So with that information, we can just mimic the same line as drawn with the forearm. Okay, so we now have the skeleton of the body. Now let's focus on the movement. So limbs move in arcs, either be flexing or extending at the elbow joint or lifting your leg to the side with the hip. But the issue with animating is that we don't know exactly where the hand will go in relation to the flexion of the elbow. So as per request, I've created a Vitruvian Luffy to demonstrate the change of position in the arms and legs as it moves. Alright, now we can quickly put some meat on these bones just by using the joints as a width guideline, and for the hands and feet, we won't worry today about the fingers and toes, so we can just draw squares for the hands and then slightly curve the feet up just to close them off. Okay, I would say this is a pretty anatomically correct looking fella, and now we can just, oh wait, what's that? Is that a, oh wait, what? That's a ball! Wow, that was a lot. I'm sorry for making that so long. If only we were single-celled amoeba, then character design would be a lot easier. But yeah, now that we got the anatomy skeleton down, next week we can begin the process of, ears, muscles, neck, joints, all that stuff next week. And all in different angles as well. So hopefully I can see you all there. But yeah, have a good one, bud.